Yes.
Public comments. None. Correspondence.
We received a notice from the town of Tilton that Avatar is going to be going around reevaluating, and they're going to come to the fire station.
Slipping right on it.
We don't choose. We don't choose. All right, old business. Special meeting requirements.
Zone at 603 checking.
Title 3. Town City Village District. Unincorporated Places. Chapter 31. Powers, duties, and towns. Well, we're not a town.
We're a district.
But it falls under the same as the towns.
Highlighted spots.
Yes.
Of the residents.
No, legal voters.
Right. No, yes, legal vote.
Will we do that?
Yeah.
Can you mail that?
No.
No.
Answer 14, C1. Meredith companies are in service.
Do we know if that's 10 business days or just 10 days? Come back.
I believe it's just regular 10 days. It's a business days.
Yes.
I'd say business days.
In 10 days.
All right. So we have to do with this. We don't have any petition.
So I think that we have an obligation to the court to hold a special meeting.
Yeah.
I think that we go with their original number of 125,988, since the water district didn't want to meet us at a reasonable amount, and let the public say yay or nay again. And then we've met our obligation to the court.
156 on there.
Because the commissioners signed a contract that said if the people said no, it null and voided any financial obligation to them for the...
Looks like a
How does that play
David,
with
Sam, Edward,
history
Sam.
or is it-
Lower Bay Road by Bay Road.
So the injunction stays in place until further ordered by the court.
And since we have to plan for the worst case scenario. So the worst case scenario would be the 125.9. Oh, wait a second, no, because remember they went with a higher amount when this went down. It was 138 or 140.
Yeah, but wasn't the original work for
The
125?
original one, we sold for the same thing last year.
Right.
The original contract is what,
And then they went higher from that.
yeah, then they sent a bill for higher because
What was their highest bill? We have to plan for worst case.
the highest bill currently is
Yeah, it's
$198,000.
like 190, of almost $200,000.
Right.
But I don't want to file for 190,000.
Yeah, no, we do. We owe an obligation to them, and we have to plan for worst case. And if the people vote for that, and then the water district decide to go with a lesser amount, then we could go with a lesser amount. But no, we put it in front of the public for the biggest amount.
The amount can always be amended on district meetings.
Right.
That's right. But you have to have a warrant article before anything else can be done.
Right.
And the judge has to review the warrant article and approve it. And then once it's approved by the judge, we have to hold a public hearing
Yep.
at least 25 days before, or no more than 25 days, I think, before the actual meeting.
But the judge won't do any of that until DRA receives their certified letter and approves it.
Right.
You better get the ball rolling.
Yep. And since we don't have a dollar amount, we have to go with worst case scenario, because otherwise if they approve something less and the water district holds us to higher, we'd still be out. So we have to go, we're gonna go for the worst case scenario to make sure we're covered, is my opinion.
I look at that as one of two ways. And I don't know if we should be discussing this in public or not. What they offer and what we counter offer.
No, that was a non-meeting.
And it was nowhere near close, so we aren't gonna meet in the middle on that, so we just go worst case.
No, but just follow the train of thought. You just said worst case is 198.
Mm-hmm.
We countered 75. Dead middle is their number, 125.
If the public vote for it, but the public has to vote for it.
Well, I just thought if we went in, well, it doesn't matter to me either way. I don't think the public's going to approve it.
We did our due diligence.
But if we went in at 125, 988.
Which was the original amount.
That the public voted no. And that's why we were trying to get a better number from the water district, and they didn't want to seem to agree to that.
Well, when they came back with the 125. Yeah.
Well, I'm just one person.
Now, if we bring in at 100, say they're turned in approved for 125, I wonder if they're gonna, well, they agreed on that. And we had nothing right in saying they did that.
Correct?
So they could come back and say, hey, no, now we want the 195.
Correct.
Except for the fact that both sides recorded the meeting.
Yes.
The non-
That's correct.
That's why we go to 195, and if they choose to lower the amount, then the amount can be lowered.
I just wonder if they say, if we say 195, this is what they want. Then the people go and say, well, let's go into 125.
Then
Yes.
the people can vote to do so.
So do you have another meeting with the water district?
Nope.
We were tasked with, John and I were supposed to discuss the definition of blow-off, and I sent him my language.
15610.
He has enough.
15600.
But no, based on the amounts, there was a difference, and nothing else was scheduled, so. We owe an obligation to the court, so we need to move forward with or without their
Charlie
input.
Henry. First is Boston,
What we
Robert,
have been billed from them
Edward,
so
Nora,
far this
David,
year is
Adam,
$116,086 and change.
Is that 3?
That's 3.
Yeah, so divide that by 3 times 4, and we'll come up with the
What
number.
is it, 116?
One, yes.
divided by 3 is 38,695.33 times 4 is 154. Even that number doesn't make sense.
Well, there's interest charged in there, and
Yep.
because they charged us late fees, and
With no contract to be charging us all this.
It's in the tariff, they say. They say we can do it because it's in the tariff.
They can't, because they signed an agreement, and the agreement said that the public said no, then there was no. They signed an agreement.
I know, I agree with you.
What that agreement now is,
Because the public said no, so they don't have any money coming to them.
I don't know, it just doesn't, I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact that we said no to, we said yes to 75,000.
We did. We offered that now, correct?
And they offered 125,
Mhm.
and we still said no.
No, that's
Now we're gonna
100.
go in at more than double what our offer was.
See that?
Because they didn't agree to anything, there's no guarantee that they don't go to a higher amount. So we should go to with the highest amount,
It's correct one.
and if the public wants to go down to the 125, they can. If the public votes no, then we
It
don't.
doesn't, help me wrap my head around it, John.
I
It doesn't make sense.
think that number, if we went in with a high number, somebody would amend it.
We need to put it in front of the public to vote.
Oh,
That's all we gotta do. But if we vote anything less than what they put down in writing, which they haven't put anything in writing, they could still come back higher.
No, they can't. If we
Chief, yes, they can. It's not in writing. So yes, they can. I know it's recorded, but that's the reason why I wanted to record it there, just in case.
I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that you want to go to 195,000.
It doesn't have to pass.
Where does 195,000 come
She's looking.
She's doing the math on that.
all right, it's $166,970.74.
Okay.
If
1079.
they bill us the same as they did the last quarter,
What, the number again, one more time?
166,970.74.
Okay, I'll go with that number then.
What?
You're welcome.
I'm fine with that.
I can make up the number over there.
Quick.
Yep. Or remember, in Massachusetts, these are the numbers for you. Put a little ball in it in a house, and that was your order number.
Yep.
And now they've done our bill.
Mm-hmm. I just want to meet the court obligations and get that done, which means if they didn't want to meet anywhere towards the middle, we'll go in with the number, that way we're covered, and we're meeting the court's intention. If the public chooses to go for it, then the public can choose to vote for that, and we'll go with what the public says. If the public chooses to not, we've at least met our obligation with the court.
We could also, another course of action could be is that we tell the lawyers, talk to the judge and say, we met with them in a meeting, trying to come to terms and could not come to terms. Maybe the judge would order us to non-binding mediation. Whether that works or not, probably not, but it would push it out.
I think my concern is I'm tired of kicking the can down the road. Unfortunately, we finally met for the first time a week ago in November. This has been going on since March. It's done. It's time to be done with it. It's time. The court said we have to. We have timelines. We need to start the timelines and get it done. And what it comes of it is what comes of it. But no more kicking the can down the road. The fact that they didn't meet with us to discuss this back in June, July, August, where we would have the time to get this done in this calendar year, I don't want to be dealing with this court from 2021 in 2022 or 2023. Want it done.
I think given the timelines of what's required by state statute, we're going to be in 2020.
That's right, but I want it early 2022 so that we can check the box and be done with it.
It's up to you guys.
Yep.
What do you think, Paul?
Oh, I'm just wondering what the court, I mean, the people voted down, what's the court going to do? Can't make us pay it.
Eight oh one,
They don't pay it.
No, it's not about paying, it's just, the court's.
1079.
I hear it.
I hear you. Special time meeting.
Good night, sir. 1050.
So
I wanna do
we
it.
go in there, and it's, you know for a fact, this is going to get voted down.
I didn't say that, but there's a good chance of that.
Pretty good chance of that.
Yep.
There's a pretty good chance it's going to be voted down again.
Yes.
Because they're not going to go back and pay last year and pay this year too.
Agreed.
So I guess my philosophy is, yeah, let's get it done now.
I want you to get done over too.
I just don't want to, because the longer we drag it out, we're going to lose. We're going to lose in lawyer fees,
Spoken
and they're going
1050.
to lose, so we're going to lose in that.
And pretty soon we're gonna be in court beyond the voted season. and all that. I want it done. And if we can get it done by March,
Yeah, and chance that next year,
Sensitive
it's
gate.
voted down again next year, then it's going to be even more. Eventually, somebody's going to have to pay.
it's unfortunate that they have to put in new systems, but that's not our problem. Our problem is we need water. We need water, whether it's domestic, potable, non-potable, just the water. If they have to put in a $600,000 filtration system that is on the water district to do their budgeting and their due diligence to serve their district in their best capacity. That does not impact us, and we should not be paying the whole bill for that, and that's what they're trying to do. So, that's where I stand on it.
Wrap my head around the numbers.
Mhm.
We said, whatever that amount is, we said no. We said no, they said no to our offer. We said no to their offer.
So the public gets to make the decision.
Right. I mean, even if we said yes, the public still has the final vote.
But if you go into the public with 75,000, for example, and the water district says, no, we are still not accepting that, we still want the 125, now we have to come from our fund somewhere that the public didn't even approve, so technically we shouldn't be going into that fund for
The
that.
public hasn't approved any funds.
But I'm saying, if you went to a special meeting with a lower amount, say you went in with a 75 and you went with that amount, the water district says, we're not coming below, we told you our number, 125. So now you gotta come up with 50 still out of somewhere. First off, we gotta figure out where we're gonna find theoretically the 75. Then on top of that, we have to find money that the public didn't even approve for the additional 50 theoretically.
Anything that would be approved at district meeting would be raised and appropriated for taxation. And the tax rates would be adjusted accordingly.
Unless you decided to take it out of the unreserved fund balance.
Clean side.
But that is not a good thing.
We have to pay a bill. That's the reason why I'd say put it up to the public at the highest, let them understand it. If they want to dress it down, they can. If the water district wants to make an amendment on the floor and say they're going to accept a smaller amount, they can. We owe an obligation to the courts. That's all I want to do is close out that obligation to the courts. This has dragged on too long. We tried making this happen a lot sooner, and the water district didn't want to meet with us to allow to. We're now at the point where we get the court part done. We have an obligation to the court.
But I also don't want to be stuck if, for some wild chance that the 166 passes, now we're raising and taxing.
Then the people have made an informed decision to raise their taxes.
And it will stay that way every year forward because they won't go back down.
Right. If the public that goes out and votes makes that willing decision to do it, then that is the public's willing decision to make that choice. That's not our place to say they can or can't.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we generate a warrant article for the special meeting and go through the timetable process for 166970.74 was the change?
Yes.
To be presented to the public, to be voted on by the public for the water district bill that was voted down at district meeting.
So they know it was voted down for, so they know the difference.
Was it the 125? What was
I can tell you.
Okay.
Just a second.
Yeah, I didn't have a solid number on that one.
Public hearing, it's just.
As I dragged through all the warrant articles looking for it.
Sorry.
Uh,
March 16th actually was the date.
Yes, it was $125,988.
Okay, so it wasn't one on this agreement then?
Yes.
Okay. It actually had 48 cents too.
Well, it is 48 cents more, but the warrant article is always for an even amount, and we have
Okay.
to find the 48 cents.
So I will make a motion, we'll start all over to make it easier, to present to the public a warrant article for the amount of $166,970.74 for payment to the Tilton Northfield Water District for water usage following the warrant article at the March 16th meeting that was voted down for the amount of $125,988.
Second. Any discussion?
That might be reworded by DRA when they get.
Appropriate, yes.
Yeah,
Due process, I respect that, but
Lakes Regional Laconia,
So
sick
when
personnel
would you like
level,
to
13
review
Lucerne
that warrant
Avenue.
article before I send it off to the
Lakes Regional Laconia,
how soon?
sick person, alpha
What's
level,
reasonable?
I can have it ready
13
tomorrow.
Lucerne Avenue. And the Garden Street East.
Let's get the
Channel
timeline,
3,
if
1756.
within what we can do, but get the timeline going.
If she wants to write it
Well,
down,
we
give it
haven't
to you guys.
approved
Right,
it yet.
she was just asking the timeline on it.
I guess we'd have to have a meeting quickly tomorrow to approve it.
Well, we have a budget committee meeting tomorrow night at 5. So, what time? I have to be in, I will leave the office to go to Northfield and set up for it at 4:30, so.
Well, he has to be at that.
And you have to be at that meeting,
Yeah.
So I
so,
won't be coming this way until after 5:15.
13 ambulance 5 responding,
Does it need to have a vote, or does it?
did not advise
Reviewed it.
it should be reviewed.
28-year-old
and
As a
male.
group.
Agreed on. No, it can go out
Feels like he has
individually.
something stuck in his back and is also having leg pain.
And what I will do is I will
Right,
send it
channel
through
three.
sign now, so that you can sign
If we agree.
if you agree.
Yep.
And Paul?
You
yes.
can't come in.
It doesn't work for you, Paul?
I knew where you were going.
You want me to try to sign it?
Just click on it.
82 Denver.
Some systems have it, some don't.
Yeah.
So you have a motion, and a
Then I
second.
Tnfd, Donna, Country
Any
Checker.
discussion? Yeah. Any other discussion?
I don't have any more discussion.
Clear 1750.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah. And it's not, I'm not opposed to it, it's the amount.
No, I respect that.
Okay, so I will send that
I want to
out.
get it done too, just as much as you do, but I don't, I just can't fathom paying more.
So where am I gonna go tomorrow, Sam? Where you gonna be?
Meet at the third traffic light after we hit 20.
Okay, I'll be there.
I'm going to be in the office tomorrow, but I was going to send it out via sign now.
Okay.
You can always, after you look at it, send me an email approving it.
Okay.
And if anybody has any questions,
Right.
changes, or comments,
Let you know
send
when
it
we
via
delay it.
email.
Yes,
All right,
thank you.
Okay.
thank you. Old business, 2025.
Sorry, that's the 2022 budget.
I saw it 5.
14?
Yeah, this uprising football thing.
Well, I just saw the yellow one.
Yeah. Well, there's still the.
All the elections and legal.
13
Yes.
ambulance 5 in Lakes Region.
So,
Caller is coming outside to meet you.
my recommendation is, because we're going to have a special district meeting in 2022, it's double the election amount.
What does the election
Negative,
usually
he
cover?
didn't stay on the phone, he just said
That
I'll be right
covers
outside.
ballots, postings, the meetings, the PD,
Police detail,
the police detail, all of that.
the payment of the people.
Yes, supervisors,
Supervisors.
Yes.
For both towns.
yes.
I think that's fair.
They don't get more because it's a special town meeting.
No, but we will have to pay, you know.
Double,
this-
2 meetings now.
Right, we're paying double, so that would be my recommendation.
No, that's logical. I would make a motion for line 4140 elections to be increased to up to $4,000.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? There's no chance this meeting's happening this year, just based on the
I don't see it with the
Well,
time, the holidays.
Yeah, no.
Well, we can
It's-
amend it. If for some reason it happens before that, then we can
Yeah.
amend that.
All right.
Yeah, that's why I said up to it.
Well, you know, we only have the month of December,
For
and
this
Paul's on
budget.
vacation,
Oh, yeah.
and
So it will be next
it
year.
will be next year. Sorry, guys.
No,
No, fair observation.
didn't know that part. All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion passes.
I double legal fees too.
I know. We're just currently at that.
We're over that.
We're at
17.
17 and change. Right?
Yeah,
And
no, I
that does
see
not
that.
include the meeting with the
Looking at
water
the
district.
And now you have to go, now the attorney has to go to court,
Yes,
Yeah.
petition the court,
yes.
and I'm sure the attorney has to be at the meeting,
808
Yes.
Century.
Yeah, that's,
So,
but the court appearance is probably going to happen in 2021 budget.
We're hoping.
yeah, but still.
I know, it's tight.
Zion Nelson,
Well, we
release
can always
fuel.
amend it later on if we think things are settled down.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that sounds like sarcasm.
it was. A keen sense of hearing.
My hearing was on time.
So, what's it?
I will make a motion for line 4153 legal expense to be increased to $30,000.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
13 ambulance 5 from Lakes Region.
But if we can go less than that's great, but I just don't want to have to pull money from
He's
elsewhere.
in a food truck in the
Doesn't-
lower
that's
parking
my
lot
concern.
by the cottages.
Make an asterisk, because we can always change it up right up until,
You
we're gonna make it on
You
the
can
floor.
amend it on the floor.
Yeah, if we have a solid number by
But
then.
when you amend it on the floor, it's just the bottom line you're amending. You don't amend the line item
Right.
at district meeting.
Right.
It's just.
So yeah, if you were going to make an amendment for whatever it came to 2,000 less, you would make an
Just
amendment for the
disconnected with
bottom
him
line
again. He was at
2,000
cottage
less.
13.
So this
Now
has
he's
been a
advised he's
particularly
moving
bad
to a
year.
food truck in the lower parking lot.
I'm thinking if we went with something like 22,000, we would, even if next year is a bad year, we'd probably cover it. Rather than 30.
We're already at 17 change plus another couple hours from the last time. And you're probably looking at
Not the quarter period.
15 hours more coming. I would think with all this time and all that, so that's why I'm not happy with the number.
And who knows, budget committee might cut it.
Yep, I mean, hopefully they understand because of the situation we're in, that's why we're doing it. I don't like giving away money like that.
I know.
Any other discussion? Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion passes. All right, now, please.
401.
Belknap 808
Page
check-in.
13. 13.
13 to 14, yep.
13.
13. We left off with 741 EMS.
Belknap 808 check-in.
Someone needs to make a motion, right?
I'll make a motion to approve section 740 EMS in the amount of $37,115.
Belknap 808 check-in.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any
Clear
discussion?
1804.
Would you like me to
Yes, please.
discuss? All right. So the airway trainer is a special trainer for people who are doing intubations. They came to me with this, and, although they do intubations on a fairly frequent basis, they want to practice so they become more proficient at it, and I agree with that. So they're requesting this mannequin model airway trainer that they can, it's reconfigurable so they can do different problems with airway management to, and learn how to deal with them. The Zoll Z vents, I'm going for a grant with, trying to go through Tilton and Northfield to achieve the Zoll Z vents through a grant, COVID grant. Since we are a fire district, we cannot apply for the grants directly. And so I'm going before the Northfield, perhaps Select Man, on the 23rd of this month. And Tilton said that they wanted to hear how the Northfield thing came out before. I think they're going to participate, but they want to know how Northfield's going to participate. But I think I've got examples of other municipalities that have done this and were successful. So I think we could reduce that amount to the match, which is would be around 20%. So if we take the 28,000 and just do 20% of that, I believe we'll get the grant, and all we have to do is pay for the match. And if we don't get the grant, we'll put it into next year's budget. Now maybe there'll be another grant coming up. There's a few more COVID grants coming up. That would be my recommendation on that. And then the final item on that list is an air and surface disinfectant lamp. So currently what we use now, we go in there into the ambulance with a fogger, a sprayer, and it doesn't really get everywhere where you would think it would get, and it leaves a residue on everything. Some of it's sticky, some of it's not. Where this light, you put it in there and you close the doors and light gets everywhere, and disinfects the vehicle or the compartment, and it's a much more efficient way of doing it. And so I'm going along with that personally.
How long does that take to disinfect?
10 minutes.
Really?
Yep.
Like Tilton Northfield. There's a fallen alpha level. 25 Spring Street,
So,
Northfield
you got
Village.
the idea
Like
from the
Tilton
fire
Northfield.
department?
There's
So
fallen
they've been
alpha
using it for the
level.
past 2
25
years.
Spring Street, Northfield Village. From Summer Street, upper channel 3,
And
1807.
others, but I know I was talking to the chief executive specifically.
No, it's on the 25 Spring Street, first column.
I just never heard of disinfectant.
Yeah, possible.
Is this for COVID or is this just disinfecting for?
Well, we would use it for COVID, but even after COVID is over, if it ever is, it's still useful as a disinfectant for the vehicle, which is a good medical practice at any rate. Hospital's been using these for a long time.
Okay.
21 Ellis 2 responding, 25 Spring Street.
21 Mills 2 responding. 64-year-old female fallen, stuck between knee wall and bed, unknown injuries.
So it's the
Apartment 20, channel 3.
it's a vent it's a portable ventilator designed for ambulance use. It is the ventilator that every department in the state of New Hampshire that has bought vents have bought this vent.
So it's like a CPAP or?
It replaces CPAP, it does
Okay.
BiPAP, and it does ventilation.
Okay. So it's a BiPAP or a CPAP replacement. It's the, okay. How many does the department have now?
We have the CPAP, we have 2 CPAPs, one in each ambulance, which we would replace, get rid of, and use this Z-vent that would do, when we intubate a patient, we control the ventilations, which would help mitigate aerosols that are in the air from bagging them. It does BiPAP, and it does CPAP. So it's a pretty nifty device.
What's the battery life on it?
How long does it go before it needs to be recharged?
So my experience with vents like this is the Eagle vent, and now this was back in 2010, had 20-minute battery charge. and then it literally stopped. So I had to fly the two of them to get down a 30-minute flight.
Oh geez, so our ambulances have an inverter, so we have.
You could leave it plugged in,
leave
rather
it
than
plugged
going on
in
battery
all the
like I
time,
had.
yeah.
So it's similar.
The only time it would be off the shore power off 110 is when we're actually moving the patient
Yeah.
from the hospital to the ambulance and then from the ambulance to the other facility or whatever.
And have you looked at other vent styles? I mean, Eagle, I wouldn't go with.
Yes, we researched 2 vents, commonly used vents, and the committee that we put together for this recommended the Z vent. I'll see if I can find the other vents.
And you had your paramedics and A's on this group?
Yes.
And so far, this is a widely used vent made this different departments,
Yes.
you said?
Yes.
And
I talked to the Concord chief that uses them and the Keene chief that uses them, and they've had nothing but success with them.
this is for one vent?
This is for 2 vents. One for
Okay. Because
Again,
you had
on
said
side, that's
you were
service, not
getting it, and
transport.
that's why I have that question.
Yep.
So they're 14 each.
They're 14 each, yes.
For 20% match, so if both towns approve it, we have to come up with over 5,600.
Yes.
Okay. That number looks a little bit more, I thought it was 2,800 for one, the way it was set at first,
No,
and then you were getting rid of, so I was wondering if you're swapping, what was going on with the second ambulance. 1,400 for events like that aren't bad.
The other vent, if I can find the material on it, was in the same ballpark. It was like $88 more than the Zero.
The consumables that go with it,
That would be covered under normal EMS supplies.
it would, but I'm just saying the consumable, the vent tubing and stuff that you use for this one, although it's really just lines, was the other one cheaper or?
Electrician at Hilton Northfield, additional call, file alarm activation, 179 East Main Street. Electrician at Hilton Northfield, additional call, file alarm activation, 179 East Main Street. Snap Road, Copeland Road, operate channel 5, 1812.
I personally didn't look at the consumables on it.
That's it. And I assume that they're all going to be about the same for the amount, the vents and all that stuff. And the big product is that. Now, what is the serviceability, wrong term, schedule for servicing?
One time a year,
Okay.
and same as like the monitors and the other things.
So it would go in with all that.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's that's a good deal. Second question I have going up is the airway trainer. SimMan, or is it just a generic? It's not full course, so it's the head.
It's just the head and the...
Okay, so it is a smaller one. Okay,
Yes.
it's not the big SimMan because those run like 70, 80, 100,000. And so it's just a hard plastic one, and the head adjusts, and then it has the soft skin around it. And
It's
yeah,
it's about this big, has the head,
lungs and chest,
lungs and
covered,
chest,
and
which
the
are covered,
side
and then there are different modules that you can place into.
into it. Okay, so that's how they're doing the adjustments to what they
Yes.
get for the channel,
Yes.
and then they cover it back over. Does this one do crike as well, or just
I don't know, but we practice crikes on hidden
That
enemies.
is-
Hidden enemies.
Yeah.
They're giving us pig throats to
Yeah.
practice on. Well, I don't do it.
Okay. And you guys don't have a trainer, airway trainer at all? Do you have a working agreement with any of the other departments around here that might, or is it just more the private EMS educational businesses that have them?
I don't know of any other department that has
Okay.
that.
20 minutes for
No,
responding.
where?
Okay, then it's your EMS education.
20 minutes
and
for
they're
your
gonna charge
responding general
everything
file alarm,
because
channel
it's a
5.
business, so. How many consumables come with that for the throats and stuff like that?
They're reusable.
For the most part.
Yeah, I think there was 5 different
Modules,
modules.
challenge.
Challenges.
I'm done with my questions.
Any other discussion?
I'm in favor of the numbers the way they are.
You know, changing it. Z-band. Well, this is, if it doesn't come back, this is a taxation, this is, fire.
Right.
Yeah, so,
It goes back to the phone.
If we get the grant, it can be a lot less, but if not, then.
What happens if one town approves it and one town doesn't?
I'd have to talk with the town that does approve it and see if
21
they'll,
to 3 on 3, not showing.
it is a grant, it doesn't cost the municipality anything.
21 to 30, I'll
Unless
see,
the
not
municipality had other uses for COVID-related equipment. They're probably scratching their heads trying to figure out what can you buy COVID-related right now. They don't probably already have.
I would suspect that if both towns did vote yes, you'd have to do it
Well, that's
to the
what,
full amount of the, it'd have to be a mutually agreed upon because it's a shared budget, I would think.
that's not shared budget.
No, they both contribute to the budget.
Yeah. But this particular item is not the budget.
Right. It's from a different budget, yeah.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion for $37,115, say aye. Aye. Opposed? None, motion passed. Moving on to line 741.02, EMS disposal equipment. Make motion to approve line 741.02, in the amount of $45,000. Motion is second for discussion. Discuss.
So, like everything else, EMS supplies and equipment has been going up and increasing, and currently we're already overexpended. The $40,000 that we budgeted for this year, and we still have a month and a half to go yet. So I think it would be prudent to raise that number.
What's the 40,310? What's that for?
Last Friday?
Last Friday,
Okay.
and I'm sure there's still stuff out there.
These are all your babies and get off that.
So,
And
you
in
have
service.
a $7,000, about a $7,000 jump from 2020. COVID started in 2020, right? When a significant impact of it.
Yes.
Yes.
So, kind of what went on this year that even though we were already in COVID, and that was a real significant COVID where you were burning through everything.
21 mils to under
Is
control.
this because we're now running the ambulance more, or what's caused?
It's just the increase of cost of materials.
Okay.
Some of it's supply chain issue.
Route to 191 East Main
Your
Street.
shipping.
I have a
Shipping's gone up.
station and same tilt, command.
Center control, water problem.
Tilt command under control, water problem.
Free shipping on everything.
The news in the basement
When
with
I
his
was in
head in
Pittsburgh,
it.
we had a medical
I believe he
supply
was communicating with his mother
warehouse.
saying that,
We used to drive to
saying that he was going to be gone within the hour.
Yeah.
However, he does have trauma triggers towards
You go to
police
the
if he could
boundary
respond
warehouse
to
in
like
here and
sirens
retire.
as the mother is worried. If he hears them or sees
You
them,
have to
he'll
probably
run
call it
upstairs
something else,
and commit them to
Shipping
support.
warehouse for him?
Yeah.
Alright. I got nothing else on that.
Any other discussion?
That's
Paul?
191
No?
Main Street, correct?
Done?
No.
All those in favor of line
191 East Side Drive.
741.02, EMS disposal equipment for $45,000, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Water product.
None, motion passes.
Okay, I have a question. Who made the motion? Second.
Made the motion and Paul seconded it.
Thank you.
This one's for you.
This is for you, Paul. I'll make a motion to apply Approved at 741.03.
110.
CLIA laboratory user fee in the amount of $180.
Just so you have it, he is going to be at that location by the
I was kind of like, I didn't grab onto it.
to confirm that 191 East Side First.
Right. This is the state lab fee?
Yes.
Now, what's CLI's base stand for?
Clinical laboratory,
It's,
I think, something like that.
Yeah, it's,
or criminal laboratory.
It's the fee we have to pay so that we can
Draw
do
blood.
anything that we submit to the labs for testing. We also have to have that for the COVID testing. State requires it.
I was just curious where it stood for. It's the New Hampshire lab, right? You go right down there on Haven Drive. It's fun to play in there. And it's a set fee. It's like,
Any other discussion on
On the
that?
105 and 110, just so you have it,
All
unknown
those in favor?
whether or not
say
he has access
aye.
to one and
Aye. Opposed?
her father.
None, motion passes.
One moment.
Line 760.
110.
Can you have,
Vehicles.
Kate drive through the parking lot, make sure that it's passable? I can understand that there may be a parking issue out there.
yes, it would be a warrant.
yes.
This is a warrant article.
That's
But it's
on
nice if you guys are gonna do this one.
810.
This is to replace Cot 3.
Can you guys through the parking lot down
Which we just
below?
did all the
At the end of it, I'm sure that's clear for passage.
Yep.
One just advised for maybe
If this
some
is
trouble with
approved at
it.
district meeting, it's still gonna be most of the year before it shows up.
So, let me ask you this question. Because vehicles are interesting. I don't know anything about the vehicle. What are you looking to get? The reason why I ask that is the town of Tilton went to purchase 2 Tahoes. Not able to. Town of Tilton went to change that in order to get 2 Fords. Not able to. Price went up like $11,000 in total.
Where are they going? Just to the dealerships?
To the state, anything.
Because the state bid ran out.
Right, but then we supposedly found some in Massachusetts.
Yeah, there's 3 state bids right now current in Massachusetts.
Right, but weren't able to get them. We were told they were on the lot. No.
Oh, no, we're not getting anything off the lot. We'd be willing to wait until one comes in.
So now, well, here's the issue. So now, just so that I read the minutes of the town of Northfield, their the police department, they made a decision to buy one immediately because they were able to get their hands on one. I know we're in a little different situation because we have to wait for approval, but I guess we need to know what we're going to get, and I don't know if that number is a solid number right now because the way the price is,
So I talked to the MHQ down in Marlboro that handles the state police contract, which is still in effect, the Boston Area Police Council contract, and the Plymouth County Commissioner's contract. And we get all the same vehicle. And they said that if we approve this, that we will get the vehicle. It's not going to be right away. It'll be several months into the year before it shows up, but they'll guarantee us the vehicle. We've purchased numerous vehicles from them in the past, and when I was in Pittsburgh, that was the place to go to get them as well. New Hampshire currently doesn't have a state bid on these types of vehicles.
or Maine or Vermont.
Excuse me?
Maine or Vermont.
Maine or Vermont do not either. Massachusetts is the only one currently that has
21 to 30 in
contracts.
service.
And if you get them off the contract, they have to buy by those prices.
kind of vehicle is it?
Would be a duplicate of what Conway is.
Is it a car?
He does all the same stuff I have.
Well, that's what.
Yes, he does.
So Walker.
These are questions that are gonna come up.
Because other departments do have smaller vehicles.
From what I can understand, the social worker is saying the mother is still in Roseland with
It's,
her
it's,
son.
150.
I believe she's going to be on ground level,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
where
It's a
the news
2009.
is. I did ask the social worker to ask the mother what way.
We just don't.
21 Hamilton due in service.
Well, that was the passing step.
30 Mills 2 in service.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Fixing the lights.
it's
That was,
breaking daily.
Copy.
The gas gauge doesn't work. The headlights stopped working the other night on its way home. It's a nickel and dime us to death vehicle right now.
I think one of the biggest things is trying to sell to the public that we need all these big vehicles for a vehicle that drives around one person and turnout gear and some radios. When we see other departments, we can go with smaller vehicles than this, so they're less expensive. I mean, yes, you have the big ones there, but it's not like every day you're hauling 4 people in the passenger seats, as well as your turnout gear, as well as an air pack, as well as a high, extinguisher or something, and then your radio console. Theoretically, your turnout gear could go in the back seat of these smaller vehicles, and
110,
you, in the turnout bag, obviously, not, so that it does have that separation of it.
10 1826.
My personal feeling is that smaller vehicles is much more beneficial, not compact. I'm not saying that,
Mother was requesting
but
that
mid-size
the house be approached by
SUV,
street
because
signs.
it's not like you're hauling
There
around
are smaller windows unless you
the
attend to see you
gator
and be able to
or
run
a cascade
downstairs.
shell or anything with your vehicle either. It's pretty much to get a personnel to a scene or to a training or something.
mine does, I do tow that and everything else that we can tow around, it does have capability.
What is C1, an excursion or
It's a expedition.
expedition?
The excursion, they don't make anymore. That was the.
110, I copied.
So yours is capable of towing.
So message
How
in
much have you
regards to
towed
the mother right
yours
now.
in this past year since you've had it?
Probably just paid this thing
How many times?
once,
Okay.
twice.
Twice. And we do have the capability of towing it with our forestry and our utility.
Yep.
And most likely, if that's out somewhere, I would assume a utility or a forestry would be out there as well. Okay.
At 1328.
Because theoretically, if a white shirt, you or the deputy were in the station and something like that needed to go, unless that stuff's gone and that didn't go with it, that they knew they were going to be backcountry for something, you could grab the utility or that and take it out, and without that mid-size SUV having to pull it out.
The other option would be an Explorer, which is smaller. That's what the police use mostly.
And what are the Explorers going with contracts like that? Or are they not even part of the contract?
They are part of the contract.
Okay.
I didn't price it.
Okay.
Still not Walker.
I'd like to see the price on that.
I think so too.
This is an Explorer?
Yep.
And this is 58, sorry,
No, no.
might have seen. 58,000,
Still not Walker.
is that sign still delivered, why did we put properly?
I figured you would have done it. I just know that the last time that was, well, for car one, that was a big issues that were brought up, is the size, use, and all that stuff.
Still not Walker.
Trying to cut off the arguments before it even starts. That's why we'd like to see the,
Social worker
I
dividing the
agree,
mother
we'd
said
like
that
to at
you'll be
least see
able
the
to
pricing.
see,
Didn't we have
or should be able to see him or the news.
I guess he can take that one.
through the lakeside kitchen window.
He used to take the utility pickup home all the time until.
Well, you come to the door, you have it, come to
He
you're gonna have
only
to
takes
break
the
in and
utility
change
home
them.
when his car's broken.
Beforehand, before car 1 came in and chief had the now car 3, the deputy was using the utility all the time.
Yes.
And then when we got car 1, deputy inherited car 3, and it's
It's been a
just,
couple of years, I mean, I just know last year we kind of put, basically spray foam inside of it.
yes, we did. Yes. Yes.
And it's the, God, I can't think of the technical term. The base,
The rocker panels.
rocker panel or rotting on.
Now, even though we started oiling it and stuff like that, it's,
It's still, you're still really for.
you close the door, you see the,
I just like to see it smaller. Compare, give us an option.
I'll get a pricing.
Thank you.
Explore.
So should I,
You never made one, because of the warrant articles, you never made a
Hello.
motion.
I just wrote down one article. All right.
So, John, you want to ask what Clea's?
110.
Yes.
Social workers
It's
advising
clinical
if you're looking at the house, you
laboratory
believe the door on the
amendments.
right-hand side is going to be the street side door. As you get enter through there, it's going to be located down the stairwell in the kitchen that's on the same level
Well,
as
'cause
the
the police
basement.
department uses
Not your
it too.
traditional basement, just a call.
It's fun to keep it up to date and all their
The emergency
ISO
side of that door
certifications.
on the right-hand side is going to be a middle level to the house, on the lower level.
960.
Rescue equipment.
Not your traditional basement, that's what they call it, that's where the kitchen is. And last but
Claudia,
not
what did that
least,
one?
he said he was in the kitchen.
Okay, I'm looking for 1860, rescue equipment for 1,300.
What's the full line? I thought you were going to zero.
I'll second. Motion second.
Lake Surgeon to Bristol.
All right, that's to replace
Wires
two of
down,
our water
layer
rescue lines. which can be
1723 Summer
replaced,
Street.
and
Lake
to
Surgeon
buy
Bristol,
four
wires down, and layer
additional
1723
batteries
Summer
for the
Street.
tubes.
Oak Crest Road to Newfound Road, operates Channel 5,
So
1832.
these are the batteries, same batteries as what we talked about the other night for the event.
Person of
These ones are for the extrication equipment.
Okay, so it's not the it's not the same as like the event one that we're talking how they have to swap out.
Yeah, so those are different Milwaukee batteries,
Okay.
but not.
Okay.
How long did we, when was the last time we,
So
It'd be
the current,
Charge,
the batteries
Robert,
we have
Charlie,
currently
Henry,
are
Robert,
approaching 3 years old.
George, David.
That's about the normal lifespan for these types of batteries.
before, how many do you use?
And that's going to be your
2 each.
location. Comes
Each
back to
two.
the intended storage subject.
Is it used two or is it used and spare?
They use both at the same time.
More
It
flexible.
will operate with just one
Yeah, our standby.
at half speed.
Okay. So it's not like you have one just sitting in as the immediate, you need two in there.
To operate at its peak capacity. Because
And these are for the engine, I assume?
these are both for the engines, the combi tools.
200 foot of Sterling water lines, so $380 for, so it's almost,
105.
well, it's two, yeah.
400 feet.
So that's about a mess.
Responding caller received sparks at the end of his driveway, Channel 5.
Aren't these the ones that don't expire?
The new ones don't expire. Yeah.
What's his name again?
Good for the light?
1.7.
Jonathan Parker,
Supposedly,
which is on him,
yeah,
report
they're
at
rated for that
9:08,
and the
not
floating.
seeing any cautions or warrants.
I assume they're not rated for shock globe,
No,
kinetic,
these
because these are
floating.
water lines,
These
they're
are water
floating.
lines, floating water lines.
So, but yeah, so you're talking 170 a foot nowadays for any type of this rope. That's, yeah, that's about right.
Or do you want about 2 feet, probably more, but I divide the feet for the price of it.
Well, the 200s and stuff. I mean, I know that's a good price. My climbing ropes and stuff in the past, years upon years ago, it was like 90 cents a foot. And that was for a static or a dynamic.
Oh, it's the
So,
price of it.
yeah, so for a price for a life rope, it's logical.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Motion passes.
So all that's left on this is just the warrant
Seven.
articles for part 3,
And
and we're waiting for more
There's
information.
no other warrant articles?
well, on the back there's, that is the
That is
same
it,
one.
that
Okay.
is the same one.
Okay. I saw one back there, I thought it was something else. so-
I moved it out of
Like 32
vehicles
Alton,
and moved
signal
it
21
down,
stage for
so
the
it's
police.
only on the last page now.
191 East Side Drive. Like 32 Alton,
All right.
signal 21 stage for the police.
So that's,
So
191
the
East
budget
Side
is done by
Drive.
us.
budget is
Courtyard
completed,
Circle, Dan Kelly
except for
Road,
that one
Upper
warrant.
Channel 3, 1636.
Yes.
Now you have another budget meeting scheduled for the 30th, possibly, if you needed it. Do you want to keep that, or do you want to just finish this one thing at the next regular meeting?
So,
So,
the next, good,
so this, as far as what we have on it, besides that warrant article,
Right,
we don't do anything. Even if the budget committee adjusts anything,
you do nothing.
we still can't do anything because they now take what we worked at, they build their budget, and that's what they send forward.
Right,
I would say if they went into a regular meeting, personally.
it's just that one article.
Yeah.
Okay.
so we have no meeting on the 30th?
As we're all excited.
I just deleted it.
I'm getting into the school budget season now. So,
Yeah, sorry.
All right, so Chief, delete the 30th from your phone.
This year was, next year
so that one I can just leave.
so now, our next meeting is the 7th.
D-Day. No, Pearl Harbor Day.
All right, so, is it the 7th?
No, okay.
Because the 14th and
Okay, so we.
Because I saw it as a 14.
All right, I still do too, but, so we're going to move it to the 7th?
if that's okay. We had a budget commission, budget meeting scheduled that day.
So I can't on the 7th because I will be at school board budget meetings.
All right.
Like I said, I'm now thrown right into that one over the next.
It's different nights that week.
We have the station building committee on the
Wednesday.
8th,
What, 6th, or the school?
planning board for Northfield.
What about, okay, the 9th is the last date that week. That's right, you do. So
Where?
you can go the week before,
Well, let me,
which is 1, 2, 3, but
hold on,
the-
let me just figure this out. So we meet the 18th, we're off the 25th, we meet the 2nd, which would indicate that we would be off the 9th.
oh, the selectmen are meeting every other week
We're,
now?
we're trying it.
Okay.
Right, because today, tomorrow's the 18th, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, this Thursday's the 18th. So
Yes.
we didn't meet last week, we meet this week. We're off next week because of Thanksgiving, so we would meet the 2nd. We would not meet the 9th. Unless we absolutely have to.
So you can't meet the 14th, and that's a big problem. That's my Tuesdays
So are you open on the 9th?
at the moment, yes.
Put it in.
Put it in, get it first.
Yep.
1 ambulance 2
All right,
responding.
so we're changing the 14th to the 9th?
From Belknap County, a male subject has been threatening signal 21. PD in the area trying to make contact. Upper Channel
It's a Thursday. I'll send out a new calendar.
All right.
Alright. Yeah, so far, because the Tuesdays prior to that are now becoming Yeah, I don't have a Tuesday until Christmas.
Yeah, the 14th. The 14th, I'm down in Massachusetts.
For work.
Go to the fourth meeting.
Okay.
Dawn 105
Well,
Center.
I'm gonna be on vacation the second week of January. Just wanna make sure.
All right,
Are
well,
we
I'm aware of that.
Are we meeting on the 4th then?
Well, this is where you might want to pull out your sheet here, because we're now getting into required timelines.
Yeah.
And
It didn't have much that early in it. You had
42
something,
on
clerk to
Trail Main
notify,
Summary.
commissioners sent copy of warrant articles to DRA for pre-review on the 3rd. And then January 7th is the last day of lawyers present applications to the commissioners. So that's the first solid week of January for requirements that we have to hit. And I appreciate having this now because to keep us
hey,
track.
I'll keep you on track.
I can't keep myself on track with everything.
So,
I'm taking a week in March too.
Wait, let me guess. March 14th?
14th would be, that would be the best
oh,
time
maybe
to
I'll
take
take
it.
that one.
Yeah, no, it'll be the week after that. I'll be in Florida.
You'll need it.
I'm not done, that's flying home right there.
All right, so
Well, we have a hard stop.
let me pull out my calendar here. So the 30th is gone.
Yeah,
And
this is really loud, busy.
Lights region 2, Meredith EMS.
commissioners is
Andrews
now on
Fall,
the 9th.
normal level.
Yeah.
3, Abbey Lane. Lights region 2, Meredith EMS.
And I don't
Andrews
have
Fall,
the
normal
calendar
level.
for
3,
2022
Abbey
yet,
Lane. Comes from Meredith Bay Drive, upper channel 3,
but I
1820.
can make notes. All right, so let's see.
And on your agenda, do you have other business?
Yes.
Lakeside, Laconia. Box 1296, 150 Blueberry Lane, Timberlake Apartments. Lakeside,
We have
Laconia.
to review
Box
minutes.
1296, 150 Blueberry Lane, Timberlake Apartments. State Circle, Linwood Road, Upright Channel 6, 1842.
Yes, because we have 1 minute that, plus the disposition
Disposition,
reports.
yeah, I'm thinking that more so.
So, what? Who's going to,
One ambulance,
Chief,
two
are you going to be
agitation.
gone in January?
45 ambulance, 3 responding.
When am I gonna be gone?
The 90-year-old female that has fallen over backwards, unknown extended injury. They need extra personnel for lifting assistance. Apartment number 5, upper
Oh,
channel.
it's the, you're leaving on the
I'm
8th,
leaving on the 8th,
so
and
it's,
I'm coming back on the 16th.
that's right.
There you go.
Arizona.
105 Brennan.
So, we can always meet the first week.
Not sure if you had service.
I was trying to read the 150 unit. You say you're all done, correct?
Nice.
What they have laying around for the president? Why is it?
Hey, Frank, can you be en route to Steele Hill? I guess there is a Paul Santos that was leaving there. There's a small four-door sedan that is parked at the end of the turnaround. 13 mils, 1 responding.
All right,
Perfect.
so we're going, moving on to the review of the minutes of October.
Walked off and got lost.
I reviewed them. I'm good with them as they are.
I'll make a motion
You want all of them at once?
I'm good with them all. I reviewed them all.
Okay, what you have is the 5th, the October 5th, 12th, 26th, November 2nd, and 9th.
Yep. Reviewed them all.
I was good with them all.
That was good.
All right, so make a motion, what was the motion? Review.
in minutes of all the above.
Hey, Bummer, it's coming out.
Station 44.
The 9th, 11/9, 11/12, 10/26, 10/12, and 10/5.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Caught up on that.
All right, now,
Yeah.
I know, it's okay. I
Before you
got
do
it.
that,
Answer
can I just throw
question
something
two.
out there in, while we're in this one? Just an informational thing. For the station committee meeting, it's informational only, just for the commissioners. Kevin Kate is now going to be the chair of the committee. I'm still going to be on it.
Fortune
but
2,
he's
go up
taking over the role of the
2205 over
chair,
21. It is
just
making
because
notification.
everything going on and all that, he has a little more availability. So I'm still on there as a commissioner's rep, but I just wanted to put that out there as informational.
Copy of the background noise.
And the other thing, would he come to meetings and inform us what's
He is available on that, or I could liaison as the commissioner's rep as well. But he does have Tuesdays off. That was one of the things we did discuss when we considered it. Yep. Another
We're all
member
good.
of the board saw that I'm just floundering trying to keep up with all this crap. So,
Check.
still there. Did he reach out to
These
you?
are really hard to read.
Okay, he was going to reach out to you.
Yeah,
One of the things he wanted to find out is the best communication when reaching out
Okay,
to
sorry.
what the request for proposals, whether they go to Kathy Coburn, an email. So it goes into a district email. That's what he was going to reach
Section
out to
under one,
find out.
unseen,
What you
3-story
found was the
front
best
building, no
option.
evacuation.
That usually is the best,
I'll pass that along if I see him, if he doesn't call before that.
yeah.
Because we were going to contract, we knew
What
of
about the
5
Mills 30
companies who
on
did for,
Sign vote.
thank you, that term.
13 line one
He
on
was going to
scene.
reach out to them to see with interest, with some basic questions and walking through that, are they interested or not? And then for them to submit like a little portfolio.
Are you gonna do an RFP, request for proposals?
We show 90,
Other
and you
companies
still
that-
showing on our borders, that's all.
We are going, there's a, I've got the name of the website written down, there's a website that all these job starters, so like a construction company posts it out there, and that way they're looking for people and all that, and all schools, and there is one of those big sites, and so we're looking into the process of what we need to do for that.
Flight Surgeon to Laconia,
And
additional
that
call,
way we'll
procedure
notify
Delta
that
level.
to others
30
besides
O'Shea Lane.
known as local
Flight
design
Surgeon
as well.
to Laconia, additional call,
Yeah.
procedure Delta level. 30 O'Shea Lane.
But there's an established on.
Feinberg Lane to the dead end, Upper Channel 3.
I think if you want.
Going those, oh, this school will be built next
It's
year.
okay.
You know, this one, so
Like
that way you kind of,
No, I'm just like, it's not
you don't know what the
complicated.
police companies out there are. I mean, it's the big ones in the area that I know 4 or 5 companies that used to work for them, and obviously DPS, I heard those that built fire stations.
She's in
and all
that,
stuff, but,
she had 35 minutes.
okay, are you interested in
She's late, we start boarding a half hour before, so she has 5 minutes to get from one gate all the way, and she's in the last row of the plane.
There's another one up in the Meredith area, or maybe it's down up there. BPS, Cobb Hills, down in Concord, Meridian. I think the other one that does more federal water stuff that's up in Center Harbor. Or is that down? No, it's further up than the down. It's further up in Center Harbor. This is one, Weston. This is up there, but they're more
13
federal.
ambulance 1 responding.
Whatever you're ready, I'm sorry.
O'Shea Lane.
Okay.
A 13-year-old male has experienced several seizures, actively seizing at the time of the call, no seizure history, Upper Channel 3.
Start boarding 30 minutes before her next flight, so she has 5 minutes. All right, I'll make a, all members present, make a motion to enter non-public session for RSA 91-A, :3, Roman numeral 2, C, matters which if discussed in public will likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance with tax payment or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant.
13C1 in service.
Motion. John seconded it. Roll call. Paul Ozer.
Yes.
John Silly.
Yes.
Eric Carter, yes. Stop the recorder.
Which button?
I'm gonna hit stop. The time being 6:49. Seconded by Paul. Seconded by Eric. Roll call vote to exit non-public session. Paul Lewis.
Yes.
John Silly.
Yes.
Eric Carter, yes. Motion passed. Stop the recorder. Restart the recorder. I didn't press this twice. So now I hit
Red.
red. Oh, it went off. Very good. All right. Public session reconvened at 7:04 p.m. Motion, do we seal these minutes?
I don't think so.
Motion made to seal the minutes, no. No roll call vote. These are for
Perfect.
session, we got that. Sign the manifest.
My email's too, Archie.
Next meeting date is,
December,
12/9.
12/9.
no, that's
You were
right.
November next, so you were the month. The right day, it must have been the second. All right. Anything else?
That's it?
I got nothing.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn,
Also,
second, non-debatable, all those in favor? All right.
yeah,
We are adjourned at 7:05 p.m.
answer the phone.